मान लो कि किसी का डिवोर्स हो गया, ठीक है, डिवोर्स हो गया और लाइक दे आर लिविंग सेपरेटली, बट लाइक धीरे धीरे दे बोथ आर मेकिंग एफर्ट्स टू बी एमिकल वगैरह. सो डिवोर्स होने के बाद शादी कर सकते हैं क्या वापस से?
उसी से
हाँ. अगर हम इसमें कुछ बनाते तो मेरे को क्रेडिट दे देना. हाय गाइस, आज का गेस्ट एपिसोड देख के आपको बहुत ज्यादा मजा आने वाला है एंड इट्स वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट एपिसोड्स जो मैंने रीसेंट टाइम्स में रिकॉर्ड किया है. टुडेज एपिसोड इज विद अनिर्बन दास गुप्ता. यस, आई नो अ लॉट ऑफ यू आर वेटिंग फॉर दिस वन. अनिर्बन एक स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन है, एक राइटर है. ही इज आल्सो द क्रिएटर ऑफ द प्राइम वीडियो शो अफसोस. अनिर्बन से मैंने बहुत सारी रिकमेंडेशंस ली. ही वाज काइंड इनफ टू सेंड मी हिज लाइक द लिस्ट ऑफ रिकमेंडेशंस इन एडवांस एंड आई एम लाइक भाई इनसे तो बात करके बहुत मजा आने वाला है. सो एपिसोड एंड तक देखना. बहुत अलग अलग चीजों की हमने बातें की हैं एंड it is beautiful how passionate we got in the episode. This video is brought to you by Mubi, which is a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe. आपको Mubi और Mubi Go की 1 साल की सब्सक्रिप्शन मिल जाएगी just for 2499 if you click on the link in description, which is mubi.com/Chalchitra Talks. So let's watch the episode I recorded with Anirban Dasgupta on Chalchitra Talks. Hi Anirban, how are you? Welcome to Chalchitra Talks.
Thank you so much. I'm good. Sorry I came late to this call because I was watching Pathaan का ट्रेलर.
कैसा लगा आपको?
अच्छा ही लगा. मेरे को तो शाहरुख खान का फिल्म देखना है.
अच्छा,
बहुत टाइम हो गया है.
I was like talking in my movie club अभी कि यार मेरे को वो धूम 1 धूम 2 वाला है यार.
सेम in my head it was कि अरे अगला वाला धूम मूवी आ गया.
But yeah, I think आप भी SR के फैन हो, मैं भी बहुत बड़ा SR के फैन हूँ. Yeah.
Yes. SRK, like growing up, I think in this particular age group, we all like I think grew up on SRK. Yeah. In fact, like I remember my mom, who was a teacher, so she used to hardly be at home, and she tells me often that I introduced SRK to her. Normally, it should be the other way around.
Oh.
But I used to watch like so many films 90s में उस time पे.
Yeah.
Then I used to be like, अच्छा ये शाहरुख खान है मम्मी. It's like अच्छा.
Very nice. Yeah. Because अभी मैंने ना बचपन में से दिल से like पासिंग में बहुत बार देखी थी. मैंने तमीज से लाइक 2-3 महीने पहले बैठ के देखी. मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा पसंद आई. लाइक बिकॉज आई हैड नेवर डन इट जस्टिस. जब से मेरे को फिल्म मेकिंग में मैं घुसा था, उसके बाद से अलग से एक मैंने सेटिंग दिया. आई रियली लाइक्ड इट. So yeah, and उसमें जैसे एक डायलॉग था कि where like प्रीति जिंटा and like शाहरुख are talking to each other कि are you a virgin, and I'm like ये कितनी पुरानी पिक्चर में ऐसे डायलॉग्स.
और शाहरुख का जो अर्ली फिल्म्स थे ना जिसमें like बाजीगर and डर, those two films I just like too much. I can like revisit them anytime. Just that like watching the lead hero playing a negative character at that stage was pretty much unheard of and a lot of fun, just a lot of fun.
Amazing. So हम आपसे बहुत सारी recommendations लेने वाले हैं. SRK को भी हम revisit करेंगे. So let's start with like sports first, क्योंकि मेरे को लगता है कि sports के आप बहुत बड़े शौकीन हो. So sports से related जो भी documentaries हैं या movies हैं, docu series हैं, like what would be some of your recommendations?
So my first recommendation would be this documentary called Palio. This is actually a horse racing, is like an ancient horse race that happens in Italy. Some town of Italy, I think Siena, very small town, छोटा सा शहर है. The documentary is so well made, but very interesting is the subject of the documentary, which is this race, which is unlike any other race. Over here, cheating is allowed, bribery is allowed. So, like it's kind of like replicates life. Because in other races, it's like very simple. You start here, you finish here. Over here, before the race starts, you have to basically like this race is between like some 16 or 18 districts of Siena. So everybody like chips in, raises money and gets the horse that like they want, or like kuch lottery sa hota hai. And then the very important part of this race is getting the jockey. Now you get the jockey, but you're also allowed, like some other district is allowed to like bribe the jockey. So that
jockey क्या होता है?
Jockey basically the person who rides the horse.
Okay.
So it's very interesting in the sense that these jockeys are corrupt. Okay. And that's part of the fun. Like it's not like looked down upon. कि like you know you jockey is racing for say district A, but like district B can actually like you know pay him money and ensure कि वो race हार जाए या किसी और को like ऐसे धक्का मार दे. Like anything is allowed. You can kick, you can like you know punch, you can like get physical. Because then the exciting part about this documentary, what I really liked was how they showed that you can pay all the money that you want to the racers, but you can't bribe the horses. Like you know that's a variable that's a variable that stays till the end.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, this is pretty interesting. I often revisit it. In general, I like to watch a lot of anything that's related to sports. I feel that you know how I grew up, sports like consumption was maximum. अगर कुछ भी देखने को नहीं है तो चला दो sports. अगर golf भी चल रहा है तो मैं देख लूंगा.
Wow.
Yeah, and in some way I feel sports का script जिस तरीके से unfold होता है, it's like a film. It's a like a long-term film only. Like you know the characters, you know their backstories, and you know how their careers progress. Bade tournaments में who wins, who loses. So yeah, anything sports I'm in.
या इंटरेस्टिंगली मेरे को एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री याद आई इससे जो मैंने देखी थी. इट्स अ डॉक्यूमेंट्री कॉल्ड द मेटाडोर. इट्स द डॉक्यूमेंट्री अबाउट दोस पीपल जो बुल्स होते हैं ना, बुल के सामने जो लाल कपड़ा लाते हैं, उनकी ऊपर स्टोरी है. इट्स सच, क्योंकि अगेन जैसा आपने भी जो बताया, ये वो वाले कुछ स्पोर्ट्स हो गए जिनके बारे में लाइक इतना मतलब लाइक डे टू डे बेसिस पे बात नहीं होती. वी हैव आवर क्रिकेट्स एंड फुटबॉल. यार एक मेटाडोर के बारे में कहानी कि उसकी क्या स्टोरी है जो बुल के सामने लाल कपड़ा लाता है.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's something that I would really recommend to you.
Got it. The Matador.
हाँ, मेटाडोर, द मेटाडोर. Yeah.
Got it.
हम चलो और बताइए.
और the first like sports film that like made an impact when I was like quite yeah, I think I was probably in college or like maybe in school also, remembering the Titans. Yeah, like there have been a lot of sports films, like I've watched some, I've not watched some, but that movie stuck to me probably because you know I anyway used to enjoy sports a lot. Again, it's like a sport that I don't really follow. It's like you know in a different country, a different culture, but a fantastic movie. Yeah, that's the thing that comes to mind.
Nice. And like what else?
There is a show on YouTube called The Night Watchman. हाँ, ये Fox Sports Australia का production है. I think it's part of their you know cricket offering. So there are 2 comics, and they get a guest like a Shane Warne or a Michael Vaughan, like you know pretty like you know popular players. I think Brett Lee, Morne Morkel, all these guys have come, and it's basically shot in front of a live audience, and it's a riot. It's like you know they will like just ask they will show funny clips from you know ये जो गेस्ट है उनका कुछ फनी क्लिप्स देगा, उनको बताएगा कि एक्सप्लेन दिस. आई डोंट नो इफ यू हैव सीन दिस. आई थिंक ये इंस्टाग्राम रील में बहुत पॉपुलर हुआ था, वेयर कोई तो फिल्म था ना जिसमें हरमन बवेजा था जो बहुत लंबा कुछ तो 6 मारा था, लाइक यू नो.
अच्छा.
ब्रेट ली को या किसी को, ये बहुत वायरल हुआ था इसका छोटा सा. आई थिंक ऐसा कुछ है कि वानखेड़े स्टेडियम में आई थिंक वो शूट हो रहे हैं. हरमन बवेजा हिट्स अ 6, इट फॉल्स ऑन ब्रिस्बेन पार हो जाता है. तो बेसिकली कट पेस्ट करके विक्ट्रीज या सो वो वाला क्लिप एक्चुअली इस शो से है, नाइट वॉचमैन से. उसमें ब्रेटली और मॉर्ने मॉर्कल को पूछ रहे कि हाउ डिड यू गेट हिट फॉर सच अ ह्यूज 6, एंड देन दे हैव अ लाफ अबाउट इट. It's on a channel called Barney and the Professor. ऐसा कुछ, I think that's the name of the 2 comics. But that's like a you know kind of a cricket review show done right.
Yeah. मैंने भी देखा है वो थोड़ा. Nice.
Moneyball I really like.
मैंने एक वीडियो बनाया था 37 ग्रेटेस्ट फिल्म्स ऑफ 21st सेंचुरी, उस पे ये नंबर 3 पे थी. मनी बॉल को लेके तो जो मेरा प्यार है, मैंने मेरी टीम को दिखाया है. वो आई थिंक सरपास कर गई है सोशल नेटवर्क को ऑफ बीइंग माय मोस्ट रिवॉच्ड मूवी. मैंने इतनी देखी है मनी बॉल.
ओह नाइस. आई एक्चुअली यू नो हैव अ लिटिल बायस टुवर्ड्स मनी बॉल बिकॉज़ वो बॉस्टन रेड सॉक्स का जो ओनर है, जो एक लास्ट सीन में आता है, वो लिवरपूल का भी ओनर है. एंड आई सपोर्ट लिवरपूल. एंड yeah
नहीं, बट द गाय हु कम्स इन द लास्ट सीन वो तो एक एक्टर है ना, जिन्होंने मतलब रोल प्ले किया है वो. हाँ,
या इट्स एन एक्टर ओनली, बट
हाँ.
जॉन
अच्छा, आप ओरिजिनल बंदे की बात कर रहे हैं.
जॉन हेनरी इज द कैरेक्टर. Yeah, like it feels like John Henry is my father only because he's owner of Liverpool. So
एंड अनिर्बन, लाइक जो लास्ट सीन है वो मैंने उस पे जब मेरी लाइफ का पहला लाइव स्ट्रीम किया था 2019 में किया था, मैंने उस सीन को डिड्यूस किया था कि व्हाई इट इज लाइक अ सिनेमैटिक मास्टरपीस, क्योंकि उनके ओनर की जो बॉडी लैंग्वेज थी, छोटी छोटी हरकतों में आपको पता चलेगा कि कितना बड़ा आदमी है. दैट सीन हैज लाइक अ स्पेशल प्लेस इन माय हार्ट.
Right, wonderful. I'll watch this video.
Yeah. It's a very badly done. बीच में इंटरनेट अटक रहा है वगैरह, तो इतना मेरा सेटअप अच्छा नहीं है.
Got it. So yeah, Moneyball. Then there is this crazy. It's like you know how I said paleo. Like, you know, it gives you a peek into a completely different world of horse race. Like, you know, rivalries of districts. Very serious stuff. There's something opposite of that, which is called 7 Days in Hell. This is, I think, Kit Harington. Yeah,
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow hai, and Andy Samberg, I think. Yeah. So this is just a mockumentary. Okay, this is a mockumentary of a match that lasts for a week, a tennis match that lasts for a week at Wimbledon. So एक मैच ऐसा हुआ भी था जो 3-4 दिन चला था बीच में, like I think 10-12 years back. तो उससे inspired है, and it's just nonsense but very funny. कि एक मैच 7 दिन तक चल रहा है, उन लोग का बैक स्टोरी इज वेरी नाइसली मेड. इट्स अगेन अ कंप्लीट लाफ राइट. आई थिंक दैट्स इन हॉटस्टार.
नाइस. एंड एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री टेनिस की आपने बात की, तो वन ऑफ माय फॉन्डेस्ट टेनिस डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज इज राहुल देसाई, जब हमारे चैनल पे आए थे ना, उन्होंने रेकमेंड की थी स्ट्रोक्स ऑफ जीनियस.
Okay.
Strokes. You haven't seen Strokes of Genius?
No, I haven't.
Strokes of Genius जो नडाल और फेडरर का एक 2008 का शायद मैच था, which is one of the greatest matches.
Wimbledon final. अंधेरे में खेल रहे थे almost हम लोग.
2008 वो उस मैच के ऊपर है Strokes of Genius. It's like and it's available on YouTube.
Okay. I'll check it out. वैसे मैं वो मैच जाके देखते रहता हूँ YouTube पे. 2008 Nadal Federer. It's an epic final.
Yeah. Strokes of Genius is one.
Yeah. Then there is another documentary which is available on YouTube. Most likely is One Night in May.
One Night in May.
Yeah, this is again. This is a story of an epic final, football final, 2005 Champions League final, which happened in Istanbul. Liverpool versus AC Milan. Now, at that stage, Liverpool were a really poor team. Like, you know, they did not have money. They did not have like many star players. It was only Steven Gerrard. And apne league mein, I think they finished 5th. So they were not even like fighting for the title in the English Premier League, which is the domestic league. But in Europe, in the Champions League, they somehow reached the finals, and they were facing AC Milan, who at that point was the best team. Like, you know, just hands down the best team in the world. And they went 3-0 up. AC Milan went 3-0 up in the first half. And somehow Liverpool won that game. They came back. It's like probably the greatest comeback of all time. And this documentary, I have seen actually a lot of documentaries on this match because it's very special, personal, you know, highlight of my life. But this is the best one. One Night in May. I think Sky ने बनाया था या किसने बनाया था. Very beautiful.
मेरे को एक आपसे बहुत stupid सवाल पूछना है. सो ना, मैं उस टाइप का फुटबॉल फैन हूँ. फैन तो बहुत बड़ा वर्ड हो गया, जो मतलब वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा है तो देख लेगा, एंड जिसको पता है ठीक है 2-4 प्लेयर्स के नाम. सो मेरे को कभी समझ नहीं आया, एंड लाइक हेल्प मी, लाइक recommend me something so that I can get into it. Since like Premier League में, English Premier League में, there is no Messi, Ronaldo भी नहीं है, and like why is it such a big deal? Like why are people such big Arsenal, Liverpool fans? और ये होता क्यों है? क्योंकि like who are they watching? Are they watching it because of the coaches, the managers, the some players? So what are they attached to? And if I have to get into this world, what can I watch to get into the world of this?
Okay, so I think English Premier League is so popular around the world is because of its reach. So they were the first league to actually package and sell it to the world, the broadcast rights, and also in India. in India, like how this is exactly how I also got into football. पहले मैं football कुछ cricket ही खेलता था school में, but then in the late 90s, 2000 2001 इस time पे the only international football on Indian TV was Premier League. So automatically you are watching Manchester United every week, you're watching Liverpool every week. You know about Real Madrid, you know about Barcelona, but you can't see it. उस time पे internet भी नहीं था.
Right.
Yeah, so like when the Premier League is obviously English league is बहुत I think 100-150 साल पुराना है, but 1992 में they rebranded themselves to the English Premier League, sold the rights to Sky Sports, and that's when it just blew up. So it went to Africa, it went to Singapore. Singapore has so many fans of English Premier League. Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Australia, and all the other leagues were like left far behind. Even though अभी तो फिर भी English Premier League में बहुत stars हैं जो लोग like world के best players हैं, but उस time पे ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता. All the best players, Brazilians, Argentinians, they used to just go to Italy. They used to just go to Spain because they were like technically these are better places to play football. The skill level is higher. England में क्या है ना, England में मारामारी होता है. So like the football is not very pretty. Now it's different, but पहले तो it was English football was just considered to be a little physical. Opponent को अगर हराना है तो मार के हराओ rather than like pass your way to the goal. So technically it was inferior, but because of the reach it just became so popular. So like yeah. अब
inferior नहीं है, I think, like compared to the other.
No, not at all. The skill level in the Premier League right now is probably more than Spain. Actually now the competition in England is really good. Like there are 5-6 teams who are really good, whereas Spain and Italy में Spain में तो वही चल रहा है, Real Madrid या Barcelona. बीच में एक बार वो Atletico Madrid आ जाएगा. But but England में like कुछ भी हो सकता है. 2015 में Leicester City was absolute nobody. They won the Premier League, which is like a miracle that probably won't be replicated again. They had like, it's just a local team with no stars, nothing. They beat Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs over 9 months, and they won the title. So this probably won't happen in Italy and Spain.
लेस्टर सिटी वही है क्या जो एक गोल मूवी आई थी, बाहर वाली जो गोल मूवी थी, उसमें वो कौन से क्लब में होता था?
न्यूकासल. न्यूकासल भी अभी बहुत अच्छा टीम हो गया है, because all these Saudi sheikhs and sheikhs from the Middle East, they are now buying football clubs and making them like rich, like really rich. They can buy any players they want. So the latest in that list is Newcastle. They were like in danger of being relegated. Last 3 spots जो होता है लीग में, they go one level down to the league one championship I think. तो वहां से now they are second or third. Immediate सब इतना पैसा मारे players पे. Yeah, so that like backdrop is also interesting. And now when big businessmen, American businessmen or Middle East businessmen, when they are looking to buy a club, they straight away go to England because the market is already built and the scope is worldwide compared to like other big clubs. And
what can I watch if I want to get like deeper into कुछ भी, अगर English Premier League का कुछ जो कुछ अच्छा बना हो या कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्री, कोई फिल्म, anything that you would want to recommend? अभी एक शो भी आया ना जिसमें हर में एक सीजन में एक क्लब को कवर करा जा रहा है. आई थिंक मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड पे एक बना था, एक आर्सेनल, हॉटस्टार पे कुछ है.
आई थिंक वो टॉटनहम हॉटस्पर पे बना है, आर्सेनल पे ही बना है. इट्स कॉल्ड ऑल और नथिंग. इज इट गुड? It's good. I watched the Arsenal one. I haven't seen the Spurs one, but actually, I think the Spurs one is better because I don't know actually, but the manager of Spurs at that time was Jose Mourinho, who's a character. Like it's just a crazy character. So I have to watch it. But yeah, that could be a good start because Arsenal wala, like how they set up the season. Where is this club? What's the history? What's the next step? What do the fans want? I think that gives a pretty overall picture of the league. But like I think All or Nothing would be one, and other I would be like just YouTube. I think YouTube ka jo resources hai abhi, it's quite unmatched. So yeah, you can watch some stuff on YouTube.
Nice.
Couple of other recommendations in sports. There's this documentary that I just saw, like maybe a month back, called FIFA Uncovered.
Netflix one.
So Netflix pe, very
Hmm.
interesting. Like, we have always heard these news stories कि कतार में World Cup कैसे हो रहा है, clearly
Yeah.
there is corruption, like, और कैसे होएगा, like it's just
हाँ.
unheard of. Winter में World Cup हो रहा है, normally summer में होता है. So how are they breaking tradition? How are they going to play in Qatar? But this is basically the story behind the scenes, ki how they got it. Again,
Nice.
a very interesting story of diplomacy, politics, corruption. Like, when all of them come together,
Nice.
it's yeah.
FIFA uncovered. Nice.
FIFA uncovered. And my last recommendation in sports would be this is not a film or a documentary or a series. This is an album, a music album called Rest Day. This came out in the 90s. And this is Sanjay Manjrekar's album. Okay, Sanjay Manjrekar is singing the songs. And the concept of the album is that all the big players of the 90s, उस time पे जो उसके teammates थे, Tendulkar, Azharuddin, Kumble, he is singing their favorite songs. So
wow.
Yeah, in the album, like, Mohammad Azharuddin comes and says, मेरा तो मेरा ये ऐसे करके कुछ बोलता है कि ये मेरा favorite song है, मैं dressing room में ये सुनता, and then Manjrekar sings that song.
Wow.
Some classic songs are there, like, I remember Azharuddin's favorite song is Ohre Taal Mile Nadi Ke Jal Mein. Okay, that old classic. Then Tendulkar's favorite song is मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया. Yeah, a lot of, like, old classics, Kishore Kumar, Mohammad Rafi, and very interesting concept. एक गाना कामली भी गाया. I think Kamli is like a guest singer on this album.
Nice.
This was like a favorite when I was a kid in school. And उस time पे cassette player पे ये बजाता था. Very recently I discovered that it's on YouTube as well. If you just search Rest Day Sanjay Manjrekar,
Rest Day.
Yeah, you will get it. Side A Side B करके आएगा.
Done. Nice.
Yeah.
So हमने I think sports में like और भी recommendation होगी, अगर आपको कुछ बाद में भी याद है, so you can like totally tell me. And अब हम आगे move करते हैं. Sports की हमने movies और documentaries की बात कर ली. Let's talk about movies in general. Movie shows and documentaries in general. Which are some of your favorites? So
like I was thinking about this before sending you the list. And a lot of the things that, like, I'd like to recommend is things that I've seen in the last, like, 7-8 years. Because jab school mein tha, like, I have not really watched a lot of films, but I have watched some films many times, because this was the cable TV ka model ki jo aa raha hai wo dekh lo. तो मैं वो सब तो बचपन में वही सब देखता था, लाइक जो भी केबल पे आ रहा है 12 बजे 2 बजे 6 बजे जो भी उसका टाइमिंग से था, एक लिस्ट आता था ना स्टार्ट ऑफ द मंथ ये होएगा. सो या सो दैट वाज माय लाइक व्हाट आई ग्रू अप ऑन. बट ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, लाइक आई हैव like college mein, when, like, I met new people, I got recommended new stuff. And in the last 5 years, when I have also been trying to write films and shows, so yeah, so these recommendations are around that. Like, a lot of these recommendations are direct references of my scripts that I'm trying to write. So I'll start with, like, what all influenced Afsos, the show that we made. Dark comedy was, again, like, a tricky space, but very, like, interesting. Like, we want to do something and get it right, but at the same time, chances ki this might be cringe. Wo sab bhi ho sakta hai. So Fargo is like our main, reference point for, like, a show like Afsos.
The show or the movie? Yeah, both.
Both. Yeah, actually, show to hai hi. Sorry, movie to hai hi. And the show dropped right, simultaneously while we were writing the show. So वो एकदम immediately देख के भी थोड़ा inspiration मिला हम लोगों को. So Fargo is definitely, watch it. Also, I feel that dark comedy, black comedy, the balance that you have to maintain, that it's not about showing something dark and then showing something funny alternatively. It has to be together. Like, if you're showing something like, horrific, that has to be funny. Very easy to get that wrong. Normally, you write something dark, like, ये scene में murder होता है, ये होता है, and then next scene में you do some comedy, but that just acts as a relief. That's not really, like, technically black comedy. Yeah. So I think Martin McDonagh, I'm a big fan of his work. Again, it's something I discovered while writing Afsos, while planning for Afsos. Dibbo's recommendation, my co-creator there. All his films are just too good. I haven't seen his latest film though, Very excited to watch that. But apart from that, Seven Psychopaths, In Bruges, and Three Billboards.
I love him. I love him. All these three films. All these. Three Billboard, In Bruges और तीसरी Seven Psychopaths.
Seven Psychopaths.
उसमें वो बंदा है ना जो थ्री बिलबोर्ड्स में पुलिस वाला बनता है जिसको ऑस्कर भी मिला था बेस्ट सपोर्टिंग एक्टर का, उसकी जो एक वॉक है जो सेवन साइकोपैथ्स में भी है. What an underrated actor he is.
I like a new film has also come, Banshees of Inisherin.
अच्छा वो उसी की है.
उसी की है, हाँ.
Oh shit.
Same duo as In Bruges in a different setting.
Same duo. Colin Firth.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Colin the Colin guy is shit.
Yeah, and the older guy is also there, and same director in a completely different setting. Trailer तो बहुत funny है, but I yet to watch the film.
What?
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but this guy Martin McDonagh is married to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think they should have kids. I think they should let it be.
Oh dude, ये मेरे को एक याद है, ये मेरा पूरा इनका चला था एक फेज, एंड आई रिमेम्बर. सो अभी मैं जयपुर आ गया हूँ, बट लाइक अभी 5-6 साल में बॉम्बे ही था, कोविड के बाद यहाँ आ गया. मैं अंधेरी ईस्ट में रहता था, वहां पे सामने एक कोई लाइक कार्निवल सिनेमा था मैं, और वहां पे रात को 12-1:30 बजे 12:30 का क्लास शो होता था, और मैं वो देखने जाता था क्योंकि हॉल खाली होता था, तो एक मैं सेंटर की सीट में लेके देखूंगा. और मैं थ्री बिलबोर्ड देखने गया था वहां पे, एंड आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर द वॉक of the policeman, like from there it was like the ultimate master class in acting. वो जैसे मारता है, और मैंने उसका ना स्क्रीन टू स्क्रिप्ट वाला,
स्क्रिप्ट टू स्क्रीन,
स्क्रिप्ट टू स्क्रीन वाला, उसके वो भी मैं पढ़ रहा था कि जो उसमें वर्ड्स यूज हुए हैं कि अगर वो पंच कर रहा है तो पंच वर्ड यूज नहीं है, क्लब वर्ड यूज हुआ है, ही क्लब्स द पर्सन, लाइक ओहो. एंड इन ब्रूज मैं आई थिंक 2015-16 में देखी थी, एंड सेवन साइकोपैथ्स मैंने इन दोनों के बीच में देखी थी बिकॉज आई वाज गेटिंग फैसिनेटेड विद द गाय. देन अगेन पता चला था ओ फक, ये फीबी वॉलर-ब्रिज का क्या पावर कपल है.
पावर कपल, बहुत जोर का शॉक लगा था जब मेरे को पता चला ये. And Martin McDonagh has, I think, already won an Oscar for a short film before he made his first feature film. So this guy is just insane. In Bruges is my favorite film out of these three because I can't believe what's going on. Like I'm like, क्या चल रहा है, बंद करो ये, like, you know, that kind of a reaction. So funny, so unlikely funny. Like, you know, ये जो subject matter है versus, like, you know, the execution. It has also helped me, like, you know, approach my stories in a little थोड़ा confidence दिया है basically all these films.
Very nice.
Yeah, कि ये सब हो सकता है. And because we mentioned Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Fleabag, of course, but there's another show of hers on Netflix called Crashing. Very similar to Fleabag in terms of duration, 20 minutes, 6 episodes, एक ही season है, but very, very good. It's like a story of some homeless people who have taken shelter in a hospital, which is like a, you know, government homeless kind, kuch to hai. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge basically, you know, crashes that, like, you know, party. Because koi ex hai and all, and very simple story whether how Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character like gets along with everybody, like all different characters who are living in that shelter. The way that series ends, like there's just one season, the way the 6th episode ends very abruptly but very beautifully. Like I can't explain, I've never seen an ending like that. Like it kind of ends in the middle of a conversation. You know, it's like, you know, this one woman has found out that his partner is cheating, something on those lines, and he just, in the middle of a conversation, she just says, I know, or something, and that's it. Like that conversation is just left as it is, and the show cuts.
It's reminding me of Sopranos kind of. Have you seen Sopranos?
I haven't.
Oh, you have to watch Sopranos.
I have to. I know. I'm gonna watch it. I often think ये जो रह गया, जो चीजें नहीं देखा है, ये मैं कौन से लाइफ में देखूंगा.
सोप्रानोस तो 2023 में देख लो. वो मतलब आप मेरे को कॉल करके थैंक यू बोलोगे कि भाई आपको 50 लोगों ने और बोला होगा. आई एम नॉट द फर्स्ट पर्सन, आई एम अज्यूमिंग, बट आई एम गिविंग यू दैट फाइनल पुश की आउट ऑफ ऑल द थिंग्स आई कैन. एंड मेरे को आपका जोन भी समझ आ रहा है धीरे धीरे. तो जिस जोन में आप राइटिंग भी कर रहे हो ना, यू हैव टू वॉच सोप्रानोस. कि अ गाय, एक इटालियन बंदा जो यूएस रह रहा है बट जो माफिया है बट उसको बच्चों को स्कूल छोड़ने जाना होता है, जिसको मेंटल वो एंजाइटी बहुत है, तो प्लॉट ही इतना स्ट्रांग है.
Yeah. No, I have like, when I've been like reading up on like classic shows and all, obviously Sopranos is like always number one. And हमेशा सोचता हूँ देखूंगा, but then like
Yeah.
I'll have to
And
find time for it.
एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली आपने फीबी वॉलर ब्रिज का क्रैशिंग बोला, सो जब आपकी लिस्ट आपने मेरे को भेजी थी, बाय द वे गाइस, अगर चलचित्र पे गेस्ट एपिसोड करने आने, मैं इतना इंप्रेस हो जाता हूँ जब लोग लिस्ट बना के आते हैं ना, इतना फील ही आ जाती है, सो इट्स अमेजिंग. सो एंड यू शेयर्ड इट विद मी आल्सो, व्हिच वाज वेरी लाइक नाइस. सो क्रैशिंग जब आप मेरे को पता चला आप रेकमेंड करोगे, सो आई डिड एन एपिसोड विद सपन वर्मा रिसेंटली. ही रेकमेंडेड द अदर क्रैशिंग, जो पीट होम्स वाला.
Yeah.
दैट्स आल्सो वेरी नाइस. मैंने
Yes,
देखा
yes.
उनके रिव्यू के बाद.
Yes. But crashing लोग वही सोचते हैं कि वही है. But this is
अच्छा, आई थॉट दैट इज द लेसर नोन क्रैशिंग, पीट होम्स वाला.
no, I
क्योंकि
think
वो कैंसिल भी हो गया.
ये तो एक ही सीजन ही हुआ है, लाइक ये भी शायद कैंसिल ही हो गया है. ये वाला क्रैशिंग. बट आई थिंक मोर पॉपुलर इज पीट होम्स वाला क्रैशिंग, बिकॉज दिस आई डिडंट नो अबाउट व्हेन आफ्टर लाइक वाचिंग फ्लीबैग, व्हेन आई जस्ट गॉट ऑब्सेस्ड विद फीबी वॉलर-ब्रिज, just checking out what is her other work is Killing Eve. I think she was showrunner in one season. And then I found this Crashing. So I feel that this is lesser known.
Got it.
There's another very beautiful scene in Crashing. I think it's the cold open of second or third episode, where basically the plot is going that there is a couple who's already staying in that shelter, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the ex of the guy, and she has come in. So now it's creating tension in that relationship. So in this particular scene, this is how an episode opens, where the couple, they are like, lying on the bed, like cuddling and like sleeping on the bed, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is sleeping on the mattress in the same room. And this scene has no dialogues. It's basically just what's going on in the minds of these three, like a couple and an ex in the same room. And they are like, on the bed, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like, down on the mattress, and the scene goes that the guy opens, like they're all sleeping but nobody is. Okay, aankh band hai but koi so nahi rahe. And then I think the girl who's jealous of this whole scenario, obviously she opens her eyes and then shuts it. And after that, Phoebe Waller-Bridge opens her eyes and then shuts it. And then after that, the guy also like tries to see ki kya chal raha hai. Just the timing and just how it's like, choreographed is beautiful.
वेरी नाइस. वेरी नाइस. ये देखना पड़ेगा. नाइस. क्रैशिंग देखते हैं. डन.
Yes. So another thing that really influenced Afsos, but again not from a plot or anything point of view, but just the making, is Dirk Gently. Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency. Douglas Adams का book है. उसके ऊपर there's this series. I think there's 2 seasons of it on Netflix. It's so absurd. I haven't read the books, and it's so absurd, that show, that again it gives you the confidence कि हो सकता है. Normally while writing, we often like give up on कि नहीं ये जम नहीं रहा है, ये client को पसंद नहीं आएगा, platform को पसंद नहीं आएगा. It's too absurd, too unbelievable. But Dirk Gently just like inspires you to go all the way. Like, you don't stop in the middle. Like it's random. Like उसमें तो सब aliens है, सब कुछ है, crazy characters, एक serial killer है, and parallel worlds and all of that. It's actually a difficult show to watch, because पहले 2-3 बार मैं पहला एपिसोड देख के बंद कर दिया था. 1-1 घंटे के एपिसोड्स है, but eventually I got around watching it, and very inspirational according to me. So if somebody is like wanting to write something whacked out, Dirk Gently is definitely a reference.
Nice.
Yeah. I think like this is how like I write mostly with Saurav Ghosh. If you know Saurav Ghosh, he was a comedian, but now he's retired. So he's like
he is retired?
Yeah, he's retired.
Why?
Because he's Saurav Ghosh, like what to tell you. His story to thoda alag hai. And he's the guy I write with, and he's phenomenal. Like his knowledge, like even his skill in writing is just very I've learned the most from him, to be honest. Like we've written, I think 3-4 things together. And how we write is we basically take gambles. Okay, we are not writing like a formula film, or like protagonist है, antagonist है, ये villain है, वो सब नहीं. We're some like stuff like Afsos, another film that we are writing is a divorce comedy. थोड़ा offbeat ही चालू होता है. So our writing kind of has come down to, here are the ideas, all are easy, but which one do we gamble on? So it's like writing is a bit like gambling. I feel like some things pay off, some things don't. There is some element of like external that's involved. So so to gamble, how to gamble and all, Dirk Gently like gives you so much confidence. You just don't go back. Agar kuch soch liya hai to jao. And this is something Varun Grover also told me when we were writing Afsos, is that the audience doesn't really care about logic till you make something really good with it. Like our audience doesn't care where this character is turning, if it's logical or not, but you just have to take it to the final destination. You have to make something out of it, then audience will automatically come around.
आपने Aaron Sorkin की मास्टर क्लास देखी है?
नहीं.
So it's मेरे को मतलब वो लिखी हुई है मैंने एक लाइन ना, मैं कभी कभी ऐसे कूल बनने के लिए ऐसे पार्टीज में बोलता हूँ. So there is this line that he said. It took me a while to understand it. Okay, and please like apologies अगर मैं गलत बोल रहा हूँ. It goes like, plausible impossibilities are better than implausible possibilities.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't heard of this, but I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
तो ये कितनी खतरनाक बात है.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, when we also present to like, say a platform or a production house, I really enjoy like when the feedback is something like, कि रुक क्यों गए, थोड़ा और जाओ ना अंदर. Like, a lot of people also tell us ki, no, this is wild, like contain, which like they're doing their job and it's okay, but it's no fun.
It's
like
no fun.
But if somebody tells you, especially the person who's going to pay the money, कि थोड़ा आगे जाओ, go all out, दिख रहा है कि तुम लोग ऐसे थोड़ा डर के सब प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं.
ये कौन लोग हैं जो पैसा भी देते हैं और जो आगे जाने के लिए मेरे को भी कनेक्ट करा दो यार.
So one guy I remember, Vijay Subramaniam, he used to head Amazon. He actually like gave us this feedback for Afsos, and he was like कि दिख रहा है कि तुम लोग थोड़ा डर के पिच कर रहे हो कि लोग सोचेगा तुम लोग पागल है क्या. तो ये वाला स्टोरी उस अप्रोच से नहीं लिख सकते तुम लोग, क्योंकि you have come with a suicidal man, with a crazy serial killer. The suicidal man can be immortal. Like, what are these things? Okay, you can't contain yourself in these things. So this story will only work if you go crazy in it. And don't worry about the feedback and all. What's important is you explore the story to the full. So that's just music to your ears. If somebody tells
amazing.
Yeah. Another recommendation I have is Wild Tales.
Yes, मैंने आपके टॉप पे देखा, मैं इतना खुश हुआ. मैंने उसी के बाद आपको मैसेज किया था कि मजा आने वाला है, because almost similar है, like Wild Tales. Yeah, please tell us.
Wild Tales तो like just a classic. I don't know whether it's still on Netflix.
मैंने जब recommend की थी तो मैंने Netflix का बोल के की थी. I don't know if it is. Yeah.
So it's a revenge anthology. I think 6 short films, each crazier than the other. I often debate कि कौन सा मेरा favorite है इसमें, because it's like everything is just too good. I really like how the film begins. The first
the one. Airport, the plane one.
The plane and
it sets the tone.
Yes, it sets the tone, and then you think कि बस अभी क्या crazy है, but then later on they exceed the expectations as well. I think this was recommended to me by a comedian. I think it was Abhishek Upmanyu or some like Biswa, one of them, 5-6 years back. And normally how we are like कि watch this show, we will not give you spoilers. ऐसे करते हैं ना हम लोग कि देख ले, ये ऊपर से बता देते हैं कि हाँ ये इसके ऊपर है, कुछ स्पॉयलर्स नहीं दूंगा, आप देख ले. बट फॉर दिस शो, how I got the recommendation was I was told the entire first film, पूरा first film बता ही दिया. And I think it was it's probably Biswa. He said that इसमें कोई spoiler नहीं है. In fact, this will make you want to watch the rest because it's anthology and all. So you just watch. So he narrated the first film completely, and I got hooked. And immediately that night I came and watched the others. Revenge is also.
Yeah, but for me, I remember showing it to my parents, the first one, because मेरे को भी पता था. मेरे लिए spoiler है वो वाला. I want to see their reaction जब वो देखते हैं कि
fair.
वो जो दो लोग खड़े और वो
वो चाय पी रहे उन लोग गार्डन में. That road rage wala story was also like,
road rage one was. There was a marriage one also. I
marriage
think.
one. I love the marriage one.
चौथी कौन सी थी मेरे को ये 3 याद है. I just remember these 3.
एक वो पार्किंग वाला था.
मेरे को लगा पार्किंग वाली रोड रेज वाला है. ओके.
नहीं, रोड रेज वाला वो है जो आई थिंक ओवरटेक करता है फिर देन लाइक ऑन द डिजर्टेड हाईवे.
Okay. Got it.
So Wild Tales, I got so inspired by Wild Tales that I was like, okay, this director, what else has he done? And I went into that rabbit hole on the internet, and he's done very less work actually, but he has made another show. He has made a show called Los Simuladores, ऐसा कुछ है. The English translation of the name is The Pretenders, and this is basically Argentina's all-time greatest show. So like it was way back, I think early 2000s में, but critical and commercial acclaim this show on Argentina TV has maximum. The story is about an agency who solves your problems by changing your reality. I'll give you an example of the first episode. In the first episode, so there are like 4 or 5 people in this team. One guy is really good in disguises. One guy is really good in like client facing. Other guy is good in design. All the things that you need. And the first client that they have, or the first episode, a man comes and says that I'm getting divorced, and I desperately don't want to get divorced. So what can you do about it? So they are like, कि just give us this information and all. ले लेते हैं like उसके एक wife का और कहाँ जाती है, क्या करती है, क्या background है, likes, dislikes, and then throughout the course of the episode, these pretenders, they change the reality of that woman, the reality that she is living in. So if she is like say on a date, these guys will make the husband pass with a really hot woman just next to the window of the date that she is in. So she will look like, fuck, that's my husband with a really hot chick. So she'll like just start thinking about it. Wow, like, am I doing the right thing? And like, so they'll basically like, confuse the fuck out if you change your reality, set up some instances where the husband comes and saves the day. And eventually the girl will just out of confusion will say, okay, I want to just be back with you. Let's do it another time.
This is kind of reminding me of Nathan Fielder's Rehearsal.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Do you know of Nathan Fielder?
No.
Okay. अरे तो नहीं, सोप्रानोस से पहले आपको रिहर्सल देखना है.
क्योंकि लिख रहा हूँ सब.
हाँ, तो रिहर्सल इज वेरी शॉर्ट एक्चुअली, क्योंकि इसका एक ही सीजन आया है. रिहर्सल, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, इज एन HBO शो. एंड नेथन फील्डर ने इससे पहले भी बहुत वाइल्ड चीजें बनाई हैं दुनिया में. मेरा ये फर्स्ट इन पॉइंट था नेथन फील्डर की उसमें. उसमें क्या होता है, इट इज बेसिकली हाउ डू आई एक्सप्लेन दिस शो यार, मैंने कैसे करूं कि अगर मान लो कि वैभव की कॉल है अनिर्बन के साथ, लाइक ऑन लाइक जूम एट लाइक 12 ऑन 10th Jan. अब उसको पता है वैभव को पता है उसके कॉल है. देन ही कॉल अ गाय जिसको उसने हायर किया है, जो उसको हेल्प करेगा. वैभव इज फीलिंग वेरी एंग्शियस, तो वैभव को है कि मेरी हेल्प करो कि ये कॉल कैसे करो. तो वैभव एक बंदा है जो रिहर्सल्स करवाता है. तो क्या होगा, वो पूरा सेटअप बनाएगा, मतलब वो हर चीज रिक्रिएट करेगा जो ऐसी ओरिजिनल उसमें, कि अगर उसको पता है अनिर्बन के पीछे पत्ते लगे होंगे तो वो वैसे जूम पे आएगा और लाइक वो पूरे सीन रिएक्ट करेंगे और वो आपकी रिहर्सल करवाएगा.
Got it.
Then what happens is कि मान लो अगर आपको इस सेटअप के लिए भी एंजाइटी हो रही है, तो वो इसकी भी रिहर्सल कराएगा. इट गेट्स सो मेटा कि हर जने को प्ले करने के लिए उसका एक रिहर्सल वाला बंदा है जो इसको हर जना एक जगह प्ले करे जा रहा है. लाइक समवन डूइंग योर रिहर्सल, जो उसकी रिहर्सल कर रहा है उसकी भी रिहर्सल कर रहा है. एंड अगर जैसे एक उसमें एपिसोड है जिसमें एक माँ है जिसको बच्चा पैदा करना है, बट शी इज वेरी स्केयर्ड कि मैं बच्चा कैसे करूं. तो वो उसकी 6 महीने से 1 साल तक प्रैक्टिस कराता है कि अगर बच्चा है तो आपको इस टाइम पे उठना है. तो उसको एक घर में एक बच्चा प्लांट करता है एंड वो उस चीज की रिहर्सल कराता है कि हाउ विल योर लाइफ चेंज व्हेन द किड इज 6 months ओल्ड, व्हेन द किड इज 5 years ओल्ड. और जब भी वो सोने जाती है बच्चा बड़ा होता जाता है. सो ओवर द मंथ्स वो देखती है कि उसकी रिहर्सल हो रही है कि इफ आई विल हैव अ किड व्हाट विल माय लाइफ बी लाइक.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I get it. I know why you think it's similar. Yeah. It's that like it's basically influencing how you behave in general.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a show available on YouTube with subtitles. I think that's some 24 episodes. The Pretenders that I was talking about by the Wild Tales director. Really funny show. Again, like, you know, when you're like dealing with, say, revenge in Wild Tales, very tricky to make everything funny as well, like, under the surface. Same with this. Really funny things. So this would be another recommendation. So now I'll just move from this zone, which is like little dark comedy. Or भी I'm pretty sure है, but like अगर कुछ आएगा तो I'll like come back.
Cool.
Ghosh and I recently we worked on a divorce comedy script, and in the process of this script we saw a lot of like movies around this subject: separation, divorce, breakups, and बहुत films देखे. These are like the top recommendations from there. Obviously the first is Kramer versus Kramer.
Done.
Like in this subject that will always be
because again this is मेरे को dysfunctional relationships, I have a thing for it, so मेरे को बड़ा मजा आ रहा है. ये zone में मेरे पास भी है. मतलब मेरे को functional relationship मत दिखाओ, उसके लिए before series अच्छी है, but मेरे को dysfunctional दिखाओ.
Dysfunctional में तो बहुत मजे है. So Kramer versus Kramer, like Kramer versus Kramer, इतना अच्छा film है in this subject that a lot of films have, like, you know, probably get into the trap of Kramer versus Kramer. The character of the child in these divorce films, they're always fucked. Like, you know, they're like, you know, always sad.
आपकी story में chill है बंदा.
वो chill है, and उसका like, you know, for that a better recommendation, for a better reference for us than Kramer versus Kramer was the Squid and the Whale.
Squid and the Whale.
तो उसमें मतलब हर obviously जब divorce हो रहा है तो बच्चे थोड़े wrong direction में जाएंगे. Like, you know, you can't really help it. They will be distressed and all, but I'm interested in that wrong direction more than distress. कि like रोते हुए दिखाना, या marriage story या Kramer versus Kramer में जिस तरीके से दिखाते हैं.
हाँ. Is Squid and the Whale also marriage story वाला director know about that?
Yes. This is his core, like, you know, subject.
वो भी तो उसका भी तो he is the partner of Greta Gerwig.
Yes.
Another power couple.
Another power. Oh man. So yeah, Squid and the Whale, very nice. I really like how it ends as well. But my favorite in this, when we went through all these films for research, was a film called The War of the Roses. Okay. So basically The War of the Roses is a story of a couple whose surname is Rose, basically. The husband and the wife, दोनों का surname Rose है. And now they are, it's a story of their, like, you know, falling out. And there are just three main characters in this film: the husband, wife, and the lawyer. And the one-liner of this film is husband and wife in a WWE fight. Okay, that's it. Like, you know, it's like very whacked out. Like, it's a fight that escalates verbally. Kya decisions in the house, ye karo, wo karo, and all, and it ends up with a full-on showdown, of violent showdown, where, like, you know. That's it. Won't say the end, but just crazy. Like husband wife WWE. That's how I remember this film. The escalations in this film, कि husband और wife का एक fight का escalation कहाँ तक जा सकता है. This film really explores that, and it's funny also.
I have a stupid question number 2. Like again, nothing to do with recommendations. मेरे को genuinely नहीं पता, तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ because I've been thinking about it for a while. Since आप इस पे research कर रहे हो, और शायद आप मैरिड हो तो आपको पता भी हो कि मान लो कि किसी का डिवोर्स हो गया, ठीक है, डिवोर्स हो गया और लाइक दे आर लिविंग सेपरेटली, बट लाइक धीरे धीरे दे बोथ आर मेकिंग एफर्ट्स टू बी एमिकल वगैरह. सो डिवोर्स होने के बाद शादी कर सकते हैं क्या वापस से
उसी से?
हाँ. अगर आप इसमें कुछ बनाते हो तो मेरे को क्रेडिट दे देना.
सेम पर्सन ट्वाइस.
हाँ, मतलब डिवोर्स हो गया, अरे भाई कि नहीं यार, लाइक वही सही पर्सन था, इस पे कुछ बना है या कुछ इस पे, इस मतलब जेन्युइनली लीगली, like, have you heard of this?
No, I haven't, but I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think legally तो it should be okay. लीगली
फिर वापस शादी करी, फिर वापस उन लोगों को बुलाया,
वापस अगर डिवोर्स हुआ, that's when it gets अरे we have been here before. जैसे होता है ना कि like if you tamper with the ball in cricket, you're banned for 2 years. So like you can't marry.
Oh man. So ये मेरे को genuinely जानना है, कमेंट्स में भी कोई बता सके कि क्या होता है इसका सीन, तो बताना.
Nice, nice. Sometimes I joke about this with my wife कि like अगर हम लोग separate हो गए तो कुछ साल बाद again we can try. Like, you know, when we are different people. But as a
Nice.
joke. So this is War of the Roses. Like I don't know where it is. कोई तो डाउनलोड करके ही देखा था, I think ये वाला. I don't think it was there in this. It's a Danny DeVito film. He's also the lawyer in the film, and just like his character is really funny. Like, you know, the wife Kathleen Turner. She basically Danny DeVito, who's the lawyer, is actually a friend of the husband, Michael Douglas, and the wife. When they are going through the divorce, the wife tries to come and like seduce Danny DeVito, okay, the lawyer's character, so that like, you know, he takes her side in this case. And obviously Danny DeVito, being Michael Douglas's friend, he refuses. Okay, he just says no to it. And then in the next scene, he finds out that the woman is a gymnast. Okay, just from a call, like the woman is like literally offering herself for sex, and he says no. Like, what strongly he says no, and literally the next scene is Michael Douglas telling him that she's a gymnast, and just that it's just a moment where Danny DeVito goes, like, you know, in his mind he's thinking of so many scenarios, but he can't say it. So very funny, insane climax. So yeah, that would be a recommendation in this zone. And I also like this Iranian film called Separation. I think that won the Oscars or something.
Yeah,
it's also very nicely made, very like, you know, tricky situation. Normally you always see American divorce and all, and this was also like nice to see in a different environment. And Made in Heaven, I really like that show. Yeah, I was hopefully second season aayega. But very, very like I like how it feels fresh. It feels different.
Yeah. Again, this is a topic that like I also really enjoy. So मैं इस पे एक दो चीजें डिस्कस करना चाहता हूँ. और एक मेरी, मतलब आपने तलवार मूवी देखी है?
I know about that film, but I haven't seen it.
मेघना गुलजार की फिल्म है.
हाँ.
So तलवार is a film that I really, really like. Again, a very unpopular opinion. like किसी का opinion ही नहीं है इसके बारे में, because वो इतना छोटा सा पार्ट है. तलवार मूवी में जो इरफान और तब्बू का रिलेशन दिखाया ना, फॉर मी इट्स वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट डिपिक्शंस ऑफ डिवोर्स एवर. कि और टोटल 10 मिनट का डिवोर्स सीन्स है उसमें, क्योंकि पिक्चर का प्लॉट कुछ और ही है, राइट, एज यू माइट नो, पर बीच बीच में वो साथ में आते हैं. सो जब द फ्रस्ट्रेशन ऑफ यू being done with a person, जो तब्बू के expressions हैं जब वो कोर्ट में जाते हैं, the lawyer is asking them some questions, and अरे यार वो बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है कि हो गया हमारा एक दूसरे के साथ, but we still have to converse with each other. So वो जो expressions तब्बू और इरफान के ना उसमें, I think, and I have never met anyone जो इस पैशन के साथ उस 10 मिनट के पार्ट की बात करता है. तो आप देखना हो, और वो मूवी भी बहुत तोड़ मूवी है. It's like one of the best films to ever have come out of India. It's very, very good.
Got it.
And then there is, I think you might have seen it, Ryan Gosling's film called Blue Valentine.
No, I haven't.
So Blue Valentine is my favorite film, where you see two people, the woman, like someone falling out of love with someone.
Right.
उसमें लव को एक करेंसी के जैसे दिखाया कि हो गया, खत्म हो गया. तो मिशेल विलियम्स इज देयर इन इट एंड रायन गॉसलिंग इज देयर इन इट, एंड मिशेल विलियम्स fall out of love with Ryan Gosling. And there is a scene towards the end of the movie where Michelle Williams says, I feel nothing for you. Nothing, there is nothing inside. तो 10-15 बार nothing बोलती है, और वो इतना दिल से बोलती है, कुछ है ही नहीं भाई, हो गया.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice. This falling out of love is a great zone. Because you know, falling in love is obviously covered most.
Yeah.
And but the logical step of falling in love is falling out of love. Like, you know, it doesn't really matter if you're with the person or without. But like, you know, there is a chance it's a depleting resource, you know.
And so there is a very good bit by I know very controversial comedian. अब आधे ही controversial हो जाए मेरे को पसंद है मैं क्या बोलूं. I really like Louis C.K. So
Yeah.
Louis C.K. का एक bit है कि you should get married. You should get married. मतलब like divorce is amazing. So I don't know if you have seen it कि get married because उसके बाद का जो पार्ट आता है वो इंटरेस्टिंग है. That is divorce. Marriage is not forever. Divorce is forever.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I actually had a bit where I used to go that, whenever people fall in love, they just become confident for no reason. Right? Like, just, ठीक है यार, मतलब, for you that's the word, but it doesn't really matter to anybody else. And the first thing, they become so confident that the first thing they say after falling in love is, wow, इसमें इतना मजा आ रहा है, and this will last forever. Like, but who told you तू अलार्म 6 लगाता है तो सुबह उठने का गारंटी नहीं है. But love is forever. So yeah.
And then there is a quote again. ये टॉपिक पे अगेन घुस गया तो एक मेरे को कोट है, मैंने किसी का पढ़ा था कि if you want to make a marriage work, make sure you have 2 separate bathrooms. I think it like really resonated.
Relate. Very, very relatable. Very relatable.
So that's the secret of making a marriage work. Have 2 separate bathrooms.
There is another joke that comes to mind. I don't know who. I'll just paraphrase it. It's like there is so much demand of same-sex marriage, like legalize same-sex marriage. But if you like ban same-sex divorce, then see how many of them are interested in this.
Crazy. Great like rabbit hole to get into.
Yeah.
Falling out of love.
Very, very real actually.
Very real. Yeah.
A few other things that I watched recently only. Another Round. I really like Another Round.
Oh yes.
A Norwegian film. Very nice. Again, like the end sequence is like an absolute favorite with that song. How the film ends. The protagonist is mid-air. Like, that's beautiful. And what else? Okay, a couple of other things I have in mind. So there's this film called October Sky. I think like 90s ka film hai. That's the film, I think that's the first film that I saw which made me like, अभी मूवी देखते हैं, immediately we go into research. सब कुछ है अभी विकिपीडिया में है, you go find out कि अच्छा इसके बारे में क्या है, अगर real story है तो you find out about that. So October Sky I saw in college का, मेरा college का auditorium में there was a movie club in college, and this is the first film they showed us. I was in first year, and it was really inspiring. Like this made me like go back. उस time पे तो कुछ Wi-Fi कुछ था भी नहीं, but जितना भी वो cyber cafe में जाके like वो इसके बारे में पढ़ा कि इसका story क्या है, and like this really, I remember this film very nicely. Like it like switched on some interest in me. October Sky. And 2 other movies I have to recommend, which are again very classic in terms of writing, and these are both one-room films. So 12 Angry Men and Man from Earth. So nice. these 2 films again from a writing point of view, very nice. Very like that challenge of like doing a film in a room. सुन के तो अच्छा लगता है, but वो तो attempt करने में भी डर लगता है, but these 2 films are so nicely done.
I'll also like ये दोनों मेरे को भी बहुत पसंद है. I still remember where I was. मेरे लिए बड़ा होता है कि अगर मूवी अच्छी है या नहीं, मैं अगर मेरे को याद है मैं कहाँ बैठा था और क्या कर रहा था, I have like very good memory of it. I was in my college 3rd year जब मैंने 12 Angry Men बैठी थी, और वो है मैं लेटा हुआ था, but इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग होने लग गई कि मैं आके वैसे बैठ गया रात को. And Man from Earth also. There is a very underrated Richard Linklater film. It's called Tape. It's a one room film.
Okay.
It has Uma Thurman, it has Ethan Hawke, and there is a third guy. Uma Thurman like last में I think they were a couple also जब ये movie आई थी. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, they were together.
Okay.
So it's about like a room जहाँ पे 2 लोग कुछ बात कर रहे, and Ethan Hawke एक बकचोद बंदा होता है, वो एक बंदा कुछ बोल रहा होता है, उसकी एक बात ना टेप रिकॉर्डर में रिकॉर्ड कर लेता है. and then the arguments that happen in that कि ये delete कर वगैरह और ये क्या escalation of that pre phone वाले zone में कैसे recording हुई and then how like it gets ugly.
Yeah,
very good film.
Hey, there's a film called Sibyl. It's a French film. This I just stumbled upon while writing that divorce film. Somebody like suggested this film when I told them the plot. Sibyl movie पे देखा था. I'm not sure अभी भी है कि नहीं. Back out, just like it's again, it's not exactly a divorce, but it's like a breakup, like a big breakup happening. And this is also another theme in this is a therapist. You know, like therapist crossing boundaries is something I really like. You know, that's a very like rich, zone.
Sopranos.
Okay.
You know that Sopranos is half of the show is about therapy.
Yeah. I have an idea of what it is about. But in general, like the whole idea of therapists crossing boundaries is just funny, dark, you know, everything.
Nice. आपकी कॉल के बाद मेरा therapy session नहीं है, so
अफसोस में भी एक थेरेपिस्ट का कैरेक्टर जो था ना, that was like probably like after Knuckles' character was my favorite. So just because everything you do after you cross a boundary is interesting, like it's prohibited, like, you know, stuff. So this Sibyl takes it crazy. Like therapist goes really wrong over here, like crosses the boundary and how gets romantically involved and shit. It was like crazy things, and then that's like half the film, and the remaining half is the consequences of going, like, you know, crossing the boundaries. That's also very funny. Shown. The setup of this film is basically in the film also a film is being made. Like there's a director, there's an actor, actress, and the, you know, dynamics between them, and the therapist like joins the set, and then everything goes wrong.
Nice.
Yeah. So
ये देखूंगा मैं, मेरे को बहुत सही लगा इसका.
Yeah. So yeah, और क्या है?
Also, like just since we are talking about like this topic, एक मेरा last वो है कि one of there is a breakup scene that I really like, and very famous movie, बहुत लोगों ने देखी है, Whiplash. So जो Whiplash का breakup scene है ना, like have you seen Whiplash?
No, I haven't.
You have to watch it. Damien Chazelle की drummer के ऊपर, उसमें there is a very underrated breakup scene because the guy has really gotten into drumming now, और उसका जो teacher है, so there is a joke कि it's a very good like thought also कि अगर आपको किसी इंसान को जानना है वो कैसा है, so ask them कि what their opinion of Whiplash is, in the sense, is it a story of a teacher mentor mentee where the mentor got toxic, or is it a story of a mentor mentee where the mentor tried to push the person to a level up? So यहाँ से आपको बहुत पता चलेगा, क्योंकि Whiplash brings that debate very interestingly कि कितना आप किसी को push कर सकते हो for greatness.
Right.
So when the guy realizes he'll be becoming very great at drumming, वो जाके बोल देता है मैं बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनने वाला हूँ, ब्रेकअप कर लेते हैं. And that's it. And the girl is like, क्या हो गया? उसकी जो cinematic language है, there is a video essay also on it, कि the guy बंदे से कैमरा दूर जाए जा रहा है, बंदी पे कैमरा आए जा रहा है, because now you relate more to it, और कैमरा और दूर जाए जा रहा है. Very great breakup scene. You have to watch it.
Okay. Got it.
Also, oh shit, like I'm really sorry I'm overdoing this. Last take, please.
Please.
Have you seen Her?
No.
Okay, so Her is a movie where the guy falls in love with इसमें Joaquin Phoenix है. So he falls in love with an operating system.
Yeah.
And I had actually written an essay about this scene called Divorce Papers. That's also a song which is there in this. So इसमें क्या होता है, Rooney Mara इनकी ex-girlfriend है, ex-wife है, and they are just signing their divorce papers, और ये divorce papers sign करने के लिए मिलते हैं. So I have this theory, मेरी बनाई हुई theory है कि if you want to show a flashback scene, the greatest way to show a flashback scene is not show any sounds of that flashback. So I like muted flashbacks a lot कि basically sounds अभी की और आपके सिर्फ visual आ रहे हैं. ये इस सीन में बहुत नाइसली हुआ था. मेरे को लगता है हमारा माइंड भी ऐसे वर्क करता है. फ्लैशबैक में जा रहे हो तो मतलब दोनों अलग अलग ड्राइव्स में होती है मेमोरीज, ऑडियो मेमोरी और विजुअल. आई हैड रिटन अ वेरी लॉन्ग एसे ऑन दिस. सो विजुअली आपको आ जाएगा, ऑडियो एकदम से नहीं जाता. सो वी हैव बीन शोन फ्लैशबैक्स इन द रॉन्ग वे इन द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम्स. हमेशा ही गलत दिखाया हमें. एंड दिस इज सच अ ग्रेट वे टू शो फ्लैशबैक.
Yes, it's beautiful. Flashback always is anyway, like, takes you kind of out of the film.
Yeah.
So, like, people approach it differently, but this is like very smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
I'm done with this topic.
Cool. Thanks for the recommendations. Just a few more things, then we can move on. There's a Bengali film called Shabdo, which is one of my favorite films. I hardly watch Bengali films, especially like contemporary Bengali films. But this was for an assignment. This was, I think, in 2013 or 14, where Vaibhav Sethia, fellow comedian from Kolkata, and we were reviewing. We were doing like basically, इधर क्या बोलते थे इसको? AIB करता था ना, Royal Turds, which is like, worst films and all. तो वो हम लोग बंगाली फिल्म्स के लिए कर रहे थे उधर कोलकाता में, and we saw this film and like we were like, इस पे जोक्स लिखने का हम लोग का वो नहीं है, like, capability नहीं है, और लिखना भी नहीं चाहिए. Just one of the finest films I've seen. It's a story of a Foley artist who basically, like, creates sounds for films, sound effects for films, and so he's so immersed in his job and he's so good in his job that his primary hearing is gone. Because Foley is basically for the background, when waters are falling on the leaves, uska kya awaaz ho raha hai ya ye wo. So he, like, he became one with his job in the sense that, like, then he couldn't, like, hear his wife hear some, like, so that, like, spoils his marriage and all, and this story of, like, how he comes back. Beautiful film. Shabdo. And Shatranj Ki Khiladi. Shatranj Ki Khiladi, when I first saw it, I did not at that point play chess. I hadn't started this whole chess madness. Shatranj Ki Khiladi I had seen, and it's like a story of two, like, prince, like, royals playing chess and getting obsessed with it so much that their kingdom goes away. Okay. So this Satyajit Ray film. So I was like, okay, like, good, like, probably good only. Whenever you watch Satyajit Ray films, you're like, like, who am I to comment and all that? And then when I started playing chess with, like, comics and all, and I understood the obsession of chess. Career जा सकता है, easily जा सकता है, शादी टूट सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. And I was like, yeah, now I get Satyajit Ray's vision. This is such a real film. Then I rewatched it.
मेरे को आज ही देखनी होगी, because interestingly 1 month back I did an episode. पहले मैंने समय के साथ किया, फिर I did an episode with सागर शाह.
Yes.
और सागर शाह के साथ जो मेरा एपिसोड था, उसके लास्ट में हमने चेस भी खेला था, एंड उसके बाद मेरा चेस ऑब्सेशन चालू हुआ. और अभी मैं वॉशरूम में जाता हूँ.
Oh brother, I think you're in trouble. ये जो चालू होता है खत्म नहीं होता. Oh man.
आपकी रेटिंग क्या है?
मेरा रेटिंग 1450 टाइप्स.
मेरी अभी 600 है.
600. But once you get into it, no, but then your everything else takes, like, less priority. Like, this becomes the main thing. रात को, like, 2 घंटा 3 घंटा खेल रहे हैं.
Yeah, and मैं Queen's Gambit अब देख रहा हूँ, and I'm loving it. मैंने देखा नहीं हुआ था, now I'm watching it.
Yeah. That obsession of chess is something else. Like, वो cricket football से थोड़ा different obsession है. It's very easy. Like, जैसे ये call, say, like, I have a Zoom call at, like, 1:30 and I am ready at 1:26. तो वो 4 मिनट में क्या करूंगा? ये chess में घुसूंगा.
और हर टाइप का ऑप्शन है. आपको 1 मिनट का खेलना है, 3 मिनट का, 5 मिनट का, 10 मिनट का.
Yeah. अभी वैभव आता था मेरे घर, like, at the peak of this, like, obsession, and we used to, like, play classical. Okay, no time limit. And कुछ, like, 2 घंटा मैच चल रहा है, कुछ टाइम का आता पता नहीं है क्या चल रहा है. आफ्टर अ पॉइंट इतना, like, फ्राई हो गया था कि लीगल मूव्स ही नहीं दिख रहे. chess.com में कैसे समझ में आता है ना कि ये कर सकते हैं, इधर तो, like, करके दिखना पड़ता है कि अरे कोई लीगल मूव ही नहीं है, क्या हो गया. Shatranj Ki Khiladi is a very nice, like, take on this subject. It, like, when somebody watches a film on chess, they will not understand that this is a big part of chess, the obsession with it. They might think, okay, just another board game, could be addictive, could be not, like, all of that. But this level of addiction that is shown in the movie, where they lose a kingdom, is perfect. It's not disproportional. It's exactly what can happen.
Crazy. I have to see it, dude. When I Shatranj ki Ladi, you gave me the right motivation. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it for films.
Amazing. And we have two more sections to do. Like we have to do books and we have to do stand-up specials. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do stand-up only. My favorite stand-up special of all time that I can revisit anytime is Adam Sandler's 100% Fresh.
Nice.
Netflix pe hai. Like the name suggests, 100% fresh, really 100% fresh. Like I have not seen a show like that. It's kind of a variety show. वो stand up कर रहा है, but बीच में गाना गा रहा है, कोई gag कर रहा है. एक joke में रॉब श्नाइडर ऊपर stage से गिरता है, एक rope से कुछ भी चल रहा है, but very funny. Like it just tells me कि stand up doesn't need to follow a formula. Like start strong, end strong, all of this, like जो normally हम लोग सोचते हैं while building a special. It can be anything as long as it's like funny, and this is a great example of that. And this is one of those shows where like if you have 5 minutes, you can just watch it for 5 minutes. Anything, 30th minute, 40th minute, 10th minute, it's just funny. Like without context, also it's just funny.
Wow.
हाँ, so I really
किसी भी मोमेंट की रील निकल सकती है.
कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. Funny throughout. Lot of songs, lot of music. Very well shot, very beautifully done. All aspects of this special is good. So yeah, that's. In fact, I remember when Adam Sandler released this special, Chris Rock had commented. That was the first comment on his Instagram. Easily top 20 specials of all time.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and like he's up against Carlins and Chris Rocks and Dave Chappelle's and Bill Burr's. And
wow.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Another special I really like is Judah Friedlander karke comic hai. Judah Friedlander's America is the greatest country in the United States. So this is more of a crowd work come stand-up special where he's just talking to people in the crowd. New York में कोई club में shoot हुआ I think. So there are people from all over. Turkey से है, Europe से, Eastern Europe से, subcontinent से है. So it's like the premise of the special is कि this is my pitch to be the next president of the United States. So he basically talks of political, like guns के साथ क्या करे, divorce क्या करेगा, immigration के साथ क्या करेगा, and with like he's asking people questions, people are like answering. That becomes the setup to his next joke. Very nicely curated crowd work come stand-up show. Very long, 90 minutes का I think show है.
Nice.
But really funny. Very different kind of. Both these Adam Sandler, Judah Friedlander specials are not pure stand-up where you come, start telling jokes and go off. So I like them. I like these like ideas. Similarly, Bo Burnham. All the work he has done. No particular special, just crazy.
Yeah.
He creates a spectacle. So
nice.
I really like his work. And Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald's special. Uska do special I think. This is his special in 2010 or 11. Me doing stand-up. I think that's the name of the special. Just like hilarious. Like every joke is perfect. It's a masterclass.
Nice.
Special. And Norm Macdonald in general is my favorite comic. In fact, when Norm Macdonald died, I think a year back, Edgar Wright tweeted this, that out of the millions of rabbit holes you can go into on the internet, Norm Macdonald is the most pleasurable one.
Wow.
Yeah. So he is.
मेरे को दिक्कत हुई थी नॉर्म मैकडॉर्मेंट को अप्रिशिएट करने में मेरा समय के साथ. सो आई मेट समय वंस एंड समय वाज लाइक बिकॉज़ वी बोथ लाइक रियली जेल्ड ओवर लुई सीके एंड इज लाइक तेरे को लुई सीके पसंद है ना तो नॉर्म को भी एक बार देख. तू अभी तेरी लाइफ अभी आधी अनएक्सप्लोर्ड है क्योंकि तूने नॉर्म नहीं देखा. देन मेरा कट टू एपिसोड था लाइक समय के साथ एंड मैंने कहा यार मैंने नॉर्म देखा मेरे को समझ नहीं आया एंड मेरे को हेल्प मी अप्रिशिएट. देन देयर इज दिस होल बिट वेयर समय हेल्प्स मी अंडरस्टैंड नॉर्म को अप्रिशिएट कैसे करते हैं. वेयर इज लाइक कि नॉर्म्स होल थिंग इज बैड पे ऑफ. पहले देखो इतना छोटा सा पे ऑफ देगा कि इतनी सारी बातें कर ली और गंदा सा पे ऑफ दे दिया. मेरा ये कितना फनी है यार.
वो like he used to bomb intentionally. Because that's how this is. So that guy was in complete control of his art. And, but apart from stand-up, a few things that I really love watching. Again, this is like Edgar Wright said, it's a pleasurable rabbit hole. he was the news anchor at Saturday Night Live. And weekend update he used to do, which is basically fake news बनाओ. And वो अभी भी चल रहा है. But I think in the history, in the 42-year-old history of Saturday Night Live, no one has done weekend update better than Norm Macdonald. Because वो जो stage पे करता था, गंदा जोक मारता था जानबूझ के और ये SNL के stage पे कर रहा है. Live audience, big show, 90s में तो SNL is huge. So used to, so उसका you will find compilation after compilation. If you just write Norm Macdonald SNL, so it's one of the, like, you know, best stints at SNL ever. Like, he was just there for 2-3 years. He got fired because he used to make jokes on OJ Simpson. He was obsessed. Like, I think एक 30-minute का clip मिलेगा देखो, if you just write Norm Macdonald OJ Simpson, he just used to go at OJ Simpson like anything. Every week Norm Macdonald will come and like say something really offensive about OJ Simpson. And NBC का जो head था, executive था, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव, वो ओजे सिम्पसन का दोस्त था, तो वो बार बार उसको बोलता था कि यार मत करना, तो वो नेक्स्ट डे और करता था, ठीक है, तो फायर कर दिया उसको. एंड देन इट वाज लाइक अ बिग न्यूज एट दैट पॉइंट. दिस इज व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड, कि फायरिंग योर बिगेस्ट स्टार from the show. But such was Norm Macdonald's, like, you know, power at that point, that 1 year later he was invited back to host the show. Okay. So his opening line in that monologue, SNL monologue, was, well, I used to work here. 1 year back I was fired, and now I've come back to host it. So either the show is really bad or they made a mistake. I don't remember, but he made a joke on it up top only. Either I have improved or the show really sucks, like something like this. So that's a great rabbit hole. Another great rabbit hole Norm Macdonald ka is Norm Macdonald late night appearances. So he's considered to be the best late night guest ever. Like, you know, across you know, Leno and Letterman. Letterman was his main thing. He used to come to Letterman. He was the last stand-up act on Letterman. He did farewell episode with stand-up, and that's also a beautiful set. They both cried. Letterman and Norm Macdonald are crying while they're saying bye. So yeah, everything, pretty much everything Norm has done has been inspirational. One YouTube video I would recommend, stand-up YouTube video, is Louis C.K. being broke. Okay. It's a classic club, you know, like how
do I tell you about, like, how many times I've watched it?
Yeah, it's so.
मैं आपको पूरा भी ना narrate कर सकता हूँ. I can tell that one to you word by word. Yeah, I'm broke. Anyone broke here? Have you ever been so broke that bank starts charging you money for not having enough money?
How he says money. That's a great set. Very rewatchable. And again, like, वो कुछ 10 minute या 8 minute का है, तो immediately you can go and watch it, start from any point. The first 5-6 minutes is my favorite in that.
Like, मैं भी वही देखता हूँ कि जब वो नेगेटिव मनी का कॉन्सेप्ट है. And if it's free, I can't afford it.
I have less than that. I have to raise $10 to be broke. So I go back to this set often because you know, it just gets you in the stand-up wala you know, mindset very immediately. Also, it's one of those sets जो बहुत raw है. You know, it's like वो एक एंगल से शूट किया है, कैमरा के सामने से लोग जा रहे हैं बार-बार, लुइसी के पीछे खड़ा होके बोले. It's not like that कि इधर से भी है एंगल, इधर से भी है, पीछे से भी है. It's very raw.
Very nice.
And I think that's probably like one of the funniest club comedy sets I have heard. It's not a taping, anything, just a random set. So yeah, like in India, obviously, 3 people just are known to build really good specials, and all the specials that they have done has been like really good. Kanan, Biswa, and Zakir. When I am you know, working or trying to build a special, I just feel that, you know, it's really tough to, like, एक special करना फिर भी आसान, ठीक है, because you know, all your tight material goes into your first special, but like, how do you build a second special and reinvent yourself? How do you build a third special, reinvent yourself? So watching these guys from close quarters has been like really fun. Kanan's both the specials of Kanan, you know, online, Keep It Real and Yours Sincerely, my favorites. I'm not sure which one is better. Like when I saw Keep It Real, I was like, okay, nothing can be better than this. But then Yours Sincerely was also so good. And yeah, so you could see like, that evolution. Same with Biswa. Biswa Mast Aadmi, a classic special. And then in the next special, he just changes completely, goes clean, no abuses, just does 1 hour of observation comedy, which is just so tough. Like, not talking about yourself, this happened to me, but just talking about something else and clean, doing it clean. Again, like mammoth effort building that special. And same with Zakir, like 3 specials. And each special has been like, better than the last, ending with Tathastu.
Tathastu. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something I don't understand, honestly, how they do it. क्या चल रहा है इधर? So beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. काफी सही. And अभी let's get to books now. Books.
Yeah. Okay. Books. यार books तो मतलब मैं बहुत कम पढ़ता है, ठीक है. And but कुछ मतलब अच्छा चीज पढ़ा है that has really helped in my life in general. My favorite book of all time is The Autobiography of a Yogi. That book, again, a very difficult book to read. I read it in my 3rd or 4th attempt, and after that I read it like thrice. Then I got the audiobook, and it's narrated by Ben Kingsley, and I like heard the audiobook like maybe 10-12 times. I don't even remember how many. Now this book is autobiography of Paramhans Yoganand. Basically, like started off in Calcutta and then became a big like guru in the West. But this book is not spiritual at all. Okay, it's funny. Like I realized it later on that he's just telling his story, which is like obviously it has happened. It's his autobiography, but in a way I don't expect a monk or a yogi to say. Like it's not preachy. It's just funny. Like उधर जैसे हम लोग अपने मम्मी पापा के साथ मम्मी पापा के बारे में भी crack jokes कि मम्मी ये बोलते रहती है, मम्मी ये करती रहती है, पापा वो कर रहे हैं. Like a yogi is doing this, like family jokes and all. And like the takeaway from this book, because like even it's not spiritual upfront, but it is like if you like read it and absorb it. I read this book in the first year of my college, and that's the first time I had gone out of home. So I was homesick, and I had a breakup, and I had failed in some exams, or back aa gaya tha. So I was just like in a bad space. पैसे नहीं थे, ठीक है, like bro, we were like staying in a very bad accommodation and all of that. And I read this book, and just somehow my like life changed. Like like how I approached life completely changed after I read this book. I had that kind of a feeling that just bring on the next challenge. Like yeah. So after that, even when I was working, I remember job. I had a like I used to hate my job, but when I used to drive to work, this is the audiobook I used to listen just to be in the zone. Okay, this is not the end of the world. There are better things to come and all, and I'm ready. Like whatever you throw. In fact, I feel I have gone out of that phase now. I probably have to read that book again. But throughout my college and throughout my working life, this book was a constant companion, and it was just always gave me courage to like wake up the next day and get on with it.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
So do check this out. This book is wildly popular. Like it is like a bestseller in like some 50 languages. Like I think it's popular all over the world. मैं बहुत इंस्पायर हो गया था इससे. मैं तो घर भर भी गया उनका कैलकाटा में. वो जो रूम में like उनका जो बेडरूम होता था उधर जाके like I just like just stayed there for a while, like with myself, and wonderful feeling. Couple of other books, comedy related. There's this book called I Am Dying Up Here. This is a story of how comedians started to get paid. Like, how we go and like, perform and get paid in it. So comedy used to be a very difficult, career in the 70s, 60s, 70s, where, the comedy clubs in America, they used to be like, we are giving you the platform. Why do you need money? इधर तुमको late night वो जॉनी कार्सन का एजेंट बैठा हुआ है, वो तुमको if you do well you will get a late night show. Like talent agents are there, Hollywood बैठा हुआ है. So why do you need money? We are giving you something more, which is obviously unethical. So this is the story of that era when there was a huge protest. A comedian committed suicide in this protest, and that just changed. That was the game changer in the comedy industry. After that, comedians started getting paid. So this was like a milestone. And this book is written by a journalist who used to cover entertainment and comedy in LA. So he was kind of an insider. So beautiful stories like Leno, Letterman. This is the time when these guys were club comics. They had no show, they had no like fame. They were just literally comics, just going to the club doing 10 minutes. So this is what changed the industry, made it like really big. And there's another book called I Killed. This is basically a very small book. Itna chota, itna patla sa hoga. Just some maybe like 30-40 short stories about being on the road as a comedian. So just road stories. So some, how comics, this impression is there that comics, they just do drugs and like, drink and all when they are on the road. It's basically full Ayashi chal raha hai. So this is the best Ayashi stories of from the 60s, 70s, 80s. That उस टाइम पे थोड़ा like लोग भी थोड़ा hippie थे ना in general. So this is so if anybody is interested in like comedy and reading books on comedy, then these two would be my recommendations. One from a comedian's point of view, stories from the road, and one from like an outsider point of view.
Got it.
One book I recently read is War Minus the Shooting. This is a book about the 1996 World Cup in India. India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Now, this World Cup was really crazy. Okay, like this is the World Cup which basically announced to the world that cricket is no longer England and Australia. Now India is like the powerhouse. Because when India got this World Cup, there was a lot of politics behind the scene. England and Australia, they were like, "Kaise karenge log?" They are like, third world. They considered us inferior, right? So then this World Cup, like India got somehow. Then us time pe Sri Lanka mein terrorism ho raha tha, Pakistan mein terrorism ho raha tha, India mein bhi it was a tumultuous time, like constantly like prime ministers change ho raha tha. So a British journalist, basically writes this book, and he calls this is war minus the shooting. So this World Cup in every way, whether it's on the field or even off the field, boards के बीच में politics, Pakistan, Indian, Sri Lankan boards के बीच में politics. Then Australia and West Indies, they refused to go to Sri Lanka to play. Forfeit कर दिया था, and that became a very big issue कि this is just racist. Like there's like nothing else. And eventually, like why the World Cup is so nice is in an epic climax, Australia had to play Sri Lanka in the final, and Sri Lanka beat them.
Wow.
So it's also a story of Sri Lanka putting their name on the world cricketing map. Uske pehle to they were minnows, and after that they became a powerhouse. And so from a political context, from a sports context, a social context, this book is there. He calls it War Minus the Shooting. Really good. Really, it was like
very nice.
And I remember because this is the first World Cup that I also really followed. So it brought back a lot of memories. This World Cup में वो match भी हुआ था जिसमें वो कामली रो रहा था, ईडन गार्डन से बॉटल फेंका था. So like crazy World Cup and a great book covering it.
Nice.
Another book. Now this I don't think is available in public, but this book is called Ground Rules. Okay, there is no one author. There are some 8 or 10 authors, and each author has written one chapter, and that chapter is a love letter to their home ground, to their home. That's why it's called Ground Rules. So Saurav Ganguly has a chapter on Eden Gardens. Steve Waugh has a chapter on SCG. Sangakkara has a chapter on his home stadium. I think English players there, West Indies players there. Just beautiful. Like Saurav Ganguly's chapter, obviously my favorite because of all the connections. But he starts off with the chapter by saying that, do you know who's the best ever sportsman to play at Eden Gardens? No, it's not Viv Richards. It's not like Sunil Gavaskar. It's not Sachin Tendulkar. It's Pele.
Oh.
Yeah, and he starts off that Pele has played in Eden Gardens in football.
Football.
Eden Gardens में पहले football होता था before Salt Lake Stadium was built, and according to Ganguly, Pele is the greatest athlete to play in Eden Gardens. So some stories like this, and Saurav Ganguly has grown up at the Eden Gardens. His dad was an administrator, तो वो हमेशा लाइक कोलकाता क्रिकेटिंग सर्कल में ही इज बीन एन इनसाइडर, सो द मैचेस दैट ही हैज सीन, कुछ भी हुआ है लाइक एक मैच में 1960s में रायट हो गया था, लाइक ओवर कैपेसिटी हो गया था, तो रायट हो गया था, इंडिया वर्सेस वेस्ट इंडीज का मैच था, तो दे हैड टू एस्केप, द वेस्ट इंडीज टीम हैड टू एस्केप, so they actually ran across the Kolkata Maidan in full public with people chasing behind. So it was a complete riot that they were part of. And one of the guys who ran in the middle of the city outside the stadium for his life was Clive Lloyd. Okay, he was probably not even the captain of West Indies at that point. And Clive Lloyd was also 1996 World Cup जिसमें bottle throw हुआ था, कामली रोया था, उस मैच का मैच रेफरी. तो गांगुली is like, clearly he has some baggage with Eden Gardens, that's why he just he's like वापस इधर केस हो गया 40 साल बाद, ये मैच कैंसिल, इधर कुछ नहीं हो सकता. So there's some really unheard stories. It's called Ground Rules. I actually imported this book from Sweden. I bought this second hand, कुछ 3,500, because I there is a question on this book in quizzing with KV, and it was such a beautiful question that it made me like look for this book, and then I got it from Sweden from a second-hand person. Crazy.
Nice.
One quick football book recommendation is Ask a Footballer by James Milner. Very different. It's not an autobiography. It's not like anything else. This is simply a Q&A. And he basically, it gives an insight to an elite athlete or elite footballer's preparation for the match. Nothing to do with the match. So here he asks, he basically addresses questions about what happens in the dressing room, what happens in the team meetings, how do you prepare for. It's funny and very insightful. So Ask a Footballer. And out of like all autobiographies that like footballers, cricketers, all of them have written, the one I like the most is Jamie Carragher. Again, Liverpool legend. Now he's a broadcaster, pundit. This book is like uncensored. Like normally, autobiographies are very like carefully curated. You keep some details out and all. This book is all out, very written in a very entertaining manner. Again, it's Liverpool, so I have little extra interest, but a wonderful autobiography.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
बहुत सही यार, क्या मस्त एपिसोड बनाई है, मजा आ गया.
Nice. Thank you for letting me indulge in all of this.
नहीं यार, मेरे को भी बड़ा मजा आता है. हमने चैनल ही इसलिए बनाया है.
बहुत बढ़िया.
आई होप आपको भी मजा आया.
Yes. ये सब चीज को लेके बात करने के लिए तो मैं बैठा हुआ रहता हूँ. कोई बात करे इसको लेके. Just one thing, I was just going through the list. काफी कुछ मिस हो गया, but just two more things I will say. Madness in the Desert.
लगान.
The making of लगान. पता है वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री जब भी मैं देखा है, पता नहीं मेरे साथ क्या होता है, मेरे बॉडी में क्या होता है, उस रात का शो बॉम्ब हो जाता है मेरा स्टैंड अप का, ठीक है. मेरे को पता नहीं है, कुछ वायरिंग चेंज हो जाता है 24 आवर्स के लिए. ये 2-3 बार हुआ है मेरे साथ, बड़े शोज में, छोटे शोज में. जब ये बुक देखा है, नेक्स्ट द डॉक्यूमेंट्री देखा है, एंड दिस डॉक्यूमेंट्री इज सो फैसिनेटिंग. लाइक इफ यू वांट टू मेक अ फिल्म, कि क्या क्या करना पड़ता है यार. फिल्म तो बाद में आता है, मेन स्टोरी तो इधर ही है. So that's wonderful to watch. And something from our scene that I really enjoyed was Better Life Foundation. The mockumentary, Naveen, Richard, Sumuki, Kanan, Utsav, all these guys. That was very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Great. नहीं यार, और आई तो आप बताना, एक और पार्ट करेंगे अपन.
ठीक है. Please everybody check out Chalchitra Talks. Please subscribe, because this is a great like this is assorted content, but every piece of content has something unique about it. You get to learn something. So I keep on clicking on it. It comes on my recommendations.
Nice.
I keep on clicking, even if I don't watch the full thing. There's something always interesting going on. So please subscribe.
So I hope you liked my episode with Anirban, and before I end the episode, I have a recommendation for you. मूवी पे एक फिल्म अवेलेबल है जिसका नाम है आफ्टर सन. आफ्टर सन इज अ वेरी वेरी सरियल मूवी अबाउट अ फादर डॉटर रिलेशनशिप. इस फिल्म को देख के यू विल फील दैट समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, बट ऑन स्क्रीन सारी चीजें बहुत स्मूथली जा रही होंगी, एंड देयर इज दिस अंडरलाइंग टोन विच विल काइंड ऑफ मेक यू फील समथिंग इज अप. and the whole movie has set an example of how to show restraint on screen. इस फिल्म के लिए पॉल मेस्कल को बेस्ट एक्टर की भी ऑस्कर नॉमिनेशन मिली है वेरी रिसेंटली. एंड इस फिल्म में मेमोरीज के कॉन्सेप्ट को जैसे दिखाया है, इट्स वेरी वेरी फैसिनेटिंग कि कौन सी मेमोरी ट्रू है, कौन सी ट्रू नहीं है, माइंड मेमोरीज कैसे वर्क करती हैं. व्हेन यू लुक बैक इन द पास्ट, जो माइंड मेमोरीज और रियल मेमोरीज का इंटरप्ले है, यू गेट टू सी इट ब्यूटिफुली डन इन द मूवी आफ्टर सन. ये मूवी आपको सरफेस लेवल पे बहुत ही सिंपल लगेगी, बट इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स मूवी. एंड मैं ये भी सजेस्ट करूँगा आफ्टर वॉचिंग द मूवी, रीड लिटिल अबाउट इट, जो इसके बारे में रिव्यूज आए हैं एंड व्हाट आर पीपल सेइंग अबाउट इट, बिकॉज आई थिंक आई अंडरस्टूड द मूवी बेटर आफ्टर दैट, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स इन दिस मूवी आर अनसेड. But this is a very unique kind of a movie. It also kind of reminded me of Sofia Coppola's Somewhere, जो मेरी one of the favorite films of all time, and that is also about a father-daughter relationship. So Somewhere की traces है, but this is more complex than Somewhere. So After Sun आपको ज़रूर देखनी चाहिए, and it's available on Mubi. And like I said, अगर आपको Mubi and MubiGo की सब्सक्रिप्शन चाहिए, वो आपको सिर्फ 2499 पे मिल जाएगी if you'll go on mubi.com/Chalchitra Talks. So do subscribe to our channel, do watch After Sun on Mubi, and I'll be back with more recommendations.